Alright. Hi everybody, I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films and look back. So that was The Immigrant Part 2 is what it was called. So somewhere in... Oh no, sorry, that's wrong. Somewhere in Europe, Immigration Part 1. And I don't know where Part 2 is, if we have it or not. But this was part of the Mogul Brothers collection, which ultimately became part of the Oregon Archive, and we scanned it for them. So, there you go. Here's another film from that collection, The Sea. And this one has sound. Enjoy.
As we gaze upon the restlessness of this mighty body of water, each breaking wave carries us away in profound contemplation of the strange inhabitants of these oceanic realms. A world in which even the most commonplace of animal forms are ghost-like and fantastic beyond comparison. Suddenly transported to this fanciful region, we see passing before us many strange vegetable growths. They stretch their fronds towards the surface and the sun. For with these, as with land plants, the sun is the giver of life. The general activity makes us aware that we are among the marine denizens. Close inspection reveals a fairy-like animal crawling along a piece of seaweed. This is a nudibranch, a shell-less marine snail, a creature for which nature has used the utmost of its creative forces in forming an animal beautiful to behold. In the sea live many kinds of these creatures, every one of which possesses characteristics peculiar to its kind. Some are crawling the sea bottom and remind one of huge floral floats passing in review. The flower-like arrangements on the back of each animal are not superfluous decorations, but gills, organs which transfer to their bodies the necessary oxygen. These creatures are able to maintain themselves at the surface of the sea. It is not uncommon to see them crawling upside down on the underside of the water's surface. The surface tension keeping them afloat. From behind every rock and crevice, crabs of many kinds issue forth. These too have placed upon their backs seaweed, so as to blend them into their surroundings as protection against enemies from above. Strange indeed are some of the protective measures adopted by many of nature's children. This crab appears to be eating its protection. Notice how pieces of food are pulled from its side and placed in its mouth. The starfish, which derives its name from its star-like shape. Here we see one moving about in search of food. This food consists of mussels, oysters, and other shell animals, which it hunts among the rocks. This starfish is seizing a mussel with its tubular feet. Folding over the mussel, umbrella-like, the tubes fasten themselves to each side of the mussel's shell, and it is dragged apart by main force. The sea contains many of these flower-like beds of animals. They are known as sea anemones and live an easy-going life, waiting for food to drop into their mouths. Suddenly, an inconspicuous object appears to have come to life. A sea anemone is beginning to open. Slowly and gradually, the tentacles are spreading, until finally they expose themselves into full bloom. This is surely a curious and at times a beautiful creature. But here, as with many animal forms, such beauty does not symbolize the inner nature of the animal. The sea anemone preys upon other animals for its food, by stinging them with certain cells thrown out from each tentacle. An eel has become entangled. The tentacles wrap themselves around the unfortunate prey. Exploding from each tentacle are thousands of microscopic stinging cells, penetrating the body of this poor creature. The eel struggles vainly to free itself, but already the tentacles are closing in. The process of ingestion is taking place. The eel is taken through the mouth into the stomach, it comprising most of the base we see, and it is there digested. From all external appearances, we are impressed with the beautiful flower-like form of the sea anemone. But here we see reality, not petals to stimulate our sense of beauty, but tentacles, organs possessing within themselves 1,000 deaths for other animals. The sea urchins are a most peculiar animal, undergoing little change throughout all the millions of years they have existed. They walk about on their spines and tubular feet, eating whatever they may find. These creatures are closely related to the starfish. This is a sea worm with spectacular fan-shaped tentacles. These tentacles are used for securing food. They are either exposed in the water so that animals can settle upon them and be drawn into the mouth, or they are pushed into the mud, and the food adhering to them is conveyed to the mouth in the same manner. The hermit crab is one of the most curious animals of the sea. The rear part of its body has no hard covering, so the animal seeks protection by inserting its soft and defenseless abdomen into some hollow object, usually the shell of a snail, the body becoming modified in shape to fit the spiral conformity of its home. The crabs walk about very quickly, and the houses upon their backs seem no encumbrance. It's an amusing sight to witness a hermit crab searching for a new home. They soon outgrow their old ones, and consequently do a great deal of house hunting. This hermit crab has just found a dwelling place. After examining carefully the empty shell, he drags it off to some secluded spot so as to be able to move in quietly. It's a simple matter. Exploring the shell by inserting its feelers into all its parts, the crab evidently has some difficulty in deciding. Very often they try several shells before they find one that will fit. This one appears to be having trouble locating the front door. But when it does, it will live in the shell and never leave it until it has outgrown it. Ah, there's the door, and the crab backs into its new home, stopping up the entrance with its large front claw. Here we see barnacles feeding. A famous scientist once said, "A barnacle is an animal that lies on its back and kicks food into its mouth with its legs." And that is exactly what we are witnessing. The barnacles are classed in the same group with crabs and shrimps, but for some unaccountable reason they attach themselves to objects at an early stage and live their adult lives as stationary animals. This sausage-shaped creature is known as a sea cucumber, one of the sea's strangest animals. If the sea cucumber is attacked by a foe, it will expel its internal organs and leave them to the enemy. Such self-mutilation, even when it involves all intestines, is not necessarily fatal, for the sea cucumber can regenerate new internal organs. The octopus, a creature whose appearance has made it the highlight in many sensational works of fiction. These animals belong to the same general group which comprises the snails and clams. One of their strangest characteristics is their ability to change color. On swimming or settling among the rocks, they assume the color of their immediate surroundings. Another curious means of protection possessed by the octopus is an ink bag that ejects a black secretion when the animal wishes to escape from danger. It is slowly approaching the octopus. Quickly, the octopus moves from its position, ejecting large jets of black fluid as it swims away. Shielded from the view of its enemies by the marine smoke screen of its own manufacture, it finds safety in the dark seclusion of the ocean of some of its hidden wonders.
Part of the Battle for Life series. Battle for Life. Yeah, so we saw some life and we saw some death in the sea. Now it's time for life and death in a pond. Enjoy.
beneath the calm and tranquil waters of the pond, living things struggle to survive and reproduce their kind. Creatures are born, eat, and are eaten, reproduce and die, part of the great continuing cycle of life and death. Winter brings a pause to the activities in the pond. Life slows, but doesn't stop. And then, in early March, even before all the snows have melted, the pond wakes from its winter sleep. Spring is a time of new life. Frogs mate. While mating, the male holds the female in a muscular grip called amplexus, during which he fertilizes her eggs as they are laid. He'll cling tight for the rest of the day. This ensures that no other male will fertilize his mate's eggs after his sperm is exhausted. Neither partner will eat or rest until amplexus is done. Frog eggs form in jelly-like clumps, while toad eggs emerge as long, peppery strings embedded in jelly. But in both cases, the jelly swells up when it touches water and allows the eggs to float in the pond. In contrast to frogs and toads, newts mate without touching. Plain-colored females seek out males with fancy markings. Each pair retires to a private spot on the pond's bottom. The excited male gives off pheromones, enticing chemicals that he fans to his mate by wagging his tail. The pheromones trigger responses in her body that prepare her to be fertilized. The male releases his sperm in a neat white packet on the gravel. The female stands over it and draws it up into her own body. Once her eggs are fertilized, she lays them in private, one by one. The frog eggs will hatch early, and the tadpoles will be first in line in the hunt for food. Each egg begins its development as soon as it's fertilized. Momentarily, it is a one-celled animal. But the cell divides, and divides again, every complex animal on Earth begins life in the same stately dance. The dividing cells take nourishment from the thin yolk that surrounds them. During the first day, the cells all look the same, but they divide rapidly. Now there are hundreds, thousands of tiny cells where there had been only one. The pond waters are still cold, but the energetic eggs and the sun's heat raise the jelly's temperature, and in this warmer environment, the cells begin to take different forms. A slit appears, which will soon fold into a tube. This will become the animal's spinal cord. In a week, the embryos are visible to the naked eye, and they are changing shape. A head has grown at one end of the spine, with bumps that will be eyes. Coiled inside are the tissues that will become stomach and intestine. At this time, most of the construction is internal. The embryo has no limbs at all. As nerve connects with muscle, reflexes begin to ripple through each tiny body. Suddenly, at the end of 2 weeks, the egg's food supply runs out. The eggs must hatch for the embryo to survive. Each embryo fights to break out of its egg sac and the dangerous sticky jelly. Tadpoles seem to be born too soon. How can they survive? They have tails, but no limbs or fins. They breathe through fragile, branching gills. They are defenseless. Now, out of all the masses of frog eggs laid in the pond, 250,000 tadpoles push off to search for food. Most will die in a few weeks, because even as they hatch, a dangerous predator is about to lay eggs nearby. The diving beetle injects her eggs into reeds and stems. Like tadpoles, when the diving beetles hatch, they will not resemble their parents. These are the young of the diving beetle. We call them water tigers. Even as infants, they prey on other inhabitants of the pond, including tadpoles. A water tiger has no jaws and no stomach, but its horns can inject stomach acids directly into a victim's body. The acid injection dissolves a victim's innards into a sort of protein syrup, which the water tiger sucks back into its own body through the horns. It dines upside down, breathing through a hole in its tail that pokes through the surface of the pond. When the victim's body is an empty shell, the meal is finished. No pond dweller is safe from a water tiger, not even another water tiger. Below the surface, the pond dwellers feed on each other, while at the surface, ducks feed on the pond dwellers. And above the pond, the air fills with thousands of gnats, and hot on their tails, a hungry dragonfly. Dragonfly forelegs are hairy nets that scoop up the tiny insects as they hover over the water's surface. Their wing muscles are so powerful and consume so much energy that they must bask in the morning sun for hours, warming their bodies until they are ready to fly. Damselflies are dragonfly relatives who carry their wings folded back rather than outstretched. A damselfly can eat its own weight in half an hour, and must, or die of starvation by mid-afternoon. Damselflies mate in the tall grass near the pond's edge. The male loops himself under the female. With a packet of sperm on his tail, he slowly fertilizes her eggs. Some damselflies lay eggs on the pond's surface, dropping them gently into the weeds below. Like frogs, Male damselflies hang on until egg-laying is complete, protecting their genetic investment. But their delicate mating rains impending death on the tadpoles below. For damselfly, and dragonfly eggs as well, hatch into nymphs. Pale, hungry creatures who prey on pond dwellers for as long as 5 years before emerging from the water as adults. Unlike water tigers, nymphs prowl the bottom of the pond looking for food. A hungry newt has its eyes on a nymph, but the nymph has a secret weapon. Watch again. The nymph's lower jaw is like a long arm with a club on the end. The newt will find its meal somewhere else. Green algae store solar energy. Tadpoles convert algae into animal tissue in the bodies of newts. That solar energy is about to pass farther along the food chain. In a pond, life and death are always interwoven. For a moment, the tadpoles turn from their normal diet of algae and eat what's left of their former enemy. Even in death, the newt has a place in the pond. Snails and other scavengers finish the job the beetle began, and the cycle of life continues. Tadpoles lost their external gills weeks ago, but they still take oxygen from the water like fish. For the lucky survivors, a final metamorphosis begins. Legs break through the skin. Tails are absorbed slowly into their bodies. Eyes poke above the surface. But the decisive moment is the opening of the lungs. When the lungs expand, the young frog must start breathing air. From the 250,000 tadpoles that were born in early spring, perhaps 200 frogs escape the pond in August. And of these, only 20 will survive land predators and live to hibernate at first frost. A pond's surface looks calm and serene, but for its inhabitants, the pond is one of the most competitive environments on Earth.
Wow, it's pretty hardcore. I love the pew pew drums during it, and You know, I would say the pond is probably a competitive place, but I would say other little small environments are also competitive, like soil or wherever. There's probably constant battles for life. All right, what time we got? Okay, so behind me I have a scanner, and I have a film set up on the scanner, and we're going to watch it, and we're going to answer the question: are you chicken? Dang it! 1 second.
Anything new out? What are you looking at?
Oh, we're just going through this catalog to see if there are any new records that we might be interested in
Before going down to the music store.
If you buy enough of them, we can get a real good discount.
Oh, yeah, neat. Did you find something?
Hey, look here. We can get 50 cents off with this new group. What do you think? Should we get one?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think they're so good. Boy, oh, boy.
Well, let's see what the other kids think. Boy, I'm game if they are. And then let's go, okay?
Okay, it's fine with me.
Excuse me, girls. Bobby, can I see you a minute, please?
Oh, sure, Mom.
Outside, away from this racket. Bobby, how much longer are you going to be, honey?
We're just about to leave to go down to the record store.
Well, I have a big favor to ask. Your father called, and he's on his way over with a Werner girl.
Werner?
You remember, the people from East Berlin. Mrs. Werner and her daughter, Monica. We talked about them. Well, your father would like you to help Monica get acquainted, sort of show her around, you know?
Oh, you don't mean now.
Honey, the new Friday fellowship is meeting at the church this afternoon, remember? Well, Monica heard about it, and she'd like to go, and we'd like very much to have you take her.
Oh, Mom. Why me? The club's going to go down the record store now.
Honey, look at it from Monica's viewpoint. Yes, she's lost her father. She's in a new country and doesn't know anyone.
Oh, yeah. But nobody, just nobody wants to go to church on Friday.
All right, then you do it for your father. If Monica's father had lived, he would be practicing medicine with your father today. So Daddy feels a responsibility for him. Now, your friends can get along without you for a while.
I still think it's good. No, you ready, Bobby?
I guess you better go on without me. My mom has something she wants me to do now.
Well, okay, I'll see you later then. Bye-bye.
You can
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye. Bye, Bobby.
What was that?
That was Bobby's record club.
Record club? Was that today? Oh, Monica, I'd like you to meet my family. This is my wife, Mrs. McKay.
How do you do, Monica?
This is my daughter, Bobby.
Hi.
How are you and your mother enjoying your new apartment, Monica?
Apartment? Oh, it's very good. It is very nice.
Oh, fine. Bobby, I understand Monica's going to be in your class at school.
Oh, swell. I'll help you get acquainted then. What's your name? Your name is Bobby? Yeah, that's short for Roberta. Oh, I'm sorry. My English is still not so good.
Well, I have to get back to the clinic. Would you girls like me to drive you to church?
I'll get your sweater, Bobby.
Oh, Irma, would you call Mrs. Renner, tell her that I'm taking the kids to church?
Monica, how about listening to some records and stuff instead of going to the church? Nein, I'd go to church. Dankeschön. Well, I figured there aren't going to be many kids there. It really isn't what the gang does on Friday afternoon. The gang? Well, you know, all the kids our age. It just isn't the thing to do.
Okay, let's go.
Here's your sweater, dear. You have a good time.
Now, I know most teenagers don't feel as though they have many choices to make. As some of you have pointed out, most of your choices are made by your teachers and your parents. You know, those senior citizens are always telling you what to do. But, is this really true? Don't you have the choice of the friends you make? Don't you have the choice of the attitude you take toward each other and toward schoolwork? Do you really apply yourself? Are you friendly and helpful, or are you only self-centered? Now, let me briefly recap what we've been discussing. The world says, follow the crowd to satisfy your own desires. Jesus has been very specific. He says, come follow me. The choice is yours. Do you have the courage to do what you know is right? Or are you, chicken? Now think about this, and we'll talk about it at our next meeting. Right now, suppose we help ourselves to the refreshments, okay?
What means chicken? What? What does it mean, this to be chicken? Well, to be chicken is like being afraid of something. Like being afraid to wear a long skirt to class when everyone else wears shorter skirts. You would be chicken to do that? Well, sure. You don't want everyone laughing at you, do you? But I thought in America you could do what you want. Well, sure you could if you really wanted to. You mean like someone who's afraid to be different? Well, yeah. Like being afraid to do what is right because other people are not doing it. Afraid to go to church because someone might laugh. That is like communism. Except if it's communism, it is very dangerous to do what no one else does. You mean it was dangerous to go to church? We left our country because we were persecuted for believing in God. But they did not stop our minds and hearts from believing. That is why I want so much to come here today and whenever I can. It is very bad to leave the other way.
It's good to see you, Bobby.
Oh, hi, Pastor. This is Monica Werner.
I am happy to meet you, Monica.
I'm happy to meet you too, Herr Pastor.
I am delighted you're here, Bobby, and you brought Monica.
Well, she kind of brought me, to tell the truth.
What do you girls think about this idea of the Friday Fellowship? Think we can get it rolling?
I don't know.
You're a pretty popular girl at school, Bobby. If you started to talk up the fellowship, we could get a real swinging group here.
Yeah. Church on Friday just isn't the thing to do, though.
Maybe. But then again, with a little help, it could become the thing to do.
I cannot help to bring other young people. I know so few yet. But I will remember to pray for next Friday.
Thank you very much, Monica. That's very nice of you. You want some refreshments?
Oh, okay. Looks good.
And what have you been up to?
We made fudge. Monica didn't know what it was, so Mom let us whip up a batch. You want some? It's not hard yet.
I'll wait.
Hey, by the way, how did you and Monica hit it off?
Oh, okay, I guess. She's kind of different, though. I never met anyone like her before.
Well, honey, Monica has had more heartaches in her short life than you'll experience in an entire lifetime. I hope.
What gets me is how easy it is for her to talk about her faith, as if it were really a part of her.
I've known people like that.
Not me. I couldn't do anything like that in a zillion years.
Oh, sure you will, honey, when you're older. What did she say that impressed you so?
Well, it wasn't any one thing she said. It was more, well, just her whole attitude. You don't have to be around her very long to realize that her Christian faith means an awful lot to her.
I'm sure it does. And I'm sure yours does, too.
Well, sure. But what I mean is, I've been going to church almost my whole life, and what have I ever done to show I'm a Christian? I mean, what little teeny-weeny thing?
Now, I guess most of us could ask ourselves the same question sometimes.
I've thought and thought about it, and I can't remember one single time I've ever said anything about what I believed. Listening to Monica talk, it just made me feel awful. Daddy, what happened to her father?
Well, we really don't know, Skipper. When Monica and her mother escaped from East Berlin, Dr. Werner was supposed to meet them the following night. Only 2 people got through that second night. Dr. Werner wasn't one of them. The official report from the East German police was that he was killed in an accident.
That's awful.
Yes, it is hard for us to imagine living in that kind of fear and uncertainty.
I guess that's why Monica takes church and all so seriously.
Yes, I think so. You see, their trust in God was all they had to go on for quite a while. When your dependence on God is as real as theirs, going to church can be very important.
Daddy, do you ever tell other people that you're a Christian? I mean, do you ever actually come right out and say something about it?
Well, honey, there are many ways we can witness. For instance, the way we go about our daily lives can say a lot. Sometimes I pray with the family when there's sickness in the home. And whenever I feel that my Christian testimony can help someone, I share it with them.
But does anyone ever laugh at you?
Oh, yes, once in a while.
But doesn't that just make you cringe inside?
Skipper, when you're older, you'll find out that what other people might say or think doesn't seem so earth-shattering anymore.
You sure know your algebra. Boy, I wish it came as easy for me as it does for you.
I will exchange with you. You help me if it's in English, and I help you if it's mathematics.
Oh, it's a deal. Let's go over to my house.
Good. I will be there later. I first must go home to help Mama.
Okay. I'll see you in an hour then.
Yeah, in an hour.
Okay.
Bobby, could we see you a minute?
Oh, sure.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye-bye.
What's up? Boy, oh boy. Did you ever put us in a jam when you didn't go with us Friday afternoon? Why couldn't you go?
Well, why? What's the matter?
Because you didn't come to the record shop with us. We couldn't buy enough to get the discount. Yeah, all we needed was 79 cents more, and we could have gotten 30% off. But we didn't have it. Why couldn't you come?
I told you. I had to do something for my mother. I had to take Monica to church.
For crying out loud. Who goes to church on Friday afternoon?
Well, my dad wanted me to.
What for?
Well, you know the new girl in class?
Oh, that German girl you were just with?
Yeah, Monica. Well, anyway, she's real gone on this church-going jazz, and my dad wanted me to show her around.
Oh, I get it. I wondered why you two have been so chummy lately.
Yeah, she's really an odd one, isn't she? Oh, well, I know she's from another country and all. But really, she acts more like my mother than an 8th grader.
Did you see that blouse she had on yesterday?
Oh, boy.
Come on, kids, let's get going. We're going down to Stan's for a mall. Want to come?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I better not. I've got something to do in an hour.
Okay, see you tomorrow. And don't forget, Friday, the record club meets at my house. Okay?
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It is the same thing whichever way you want to say it. 2 times x plus 2 times y is the same as saying 2 times x plus y when x plus y are in these little brackets.
Oh, I get it. When did you learn this? We haven't had it in class yet.
Oh, I learned this 2 years ago. Our schools were very much on sciences, very strong.
You did well, didn't you?
Yeah, I have always done well in mathematics.
How about that? Maybe you'll be a scientist, or even an engineer.
In America, maybe yes. Back home, I could not.
How come? Didn't they have colleges and universities?
Yes, they had many strong schools, but they are only for the communists and the young pioneers. They have first choice at all the schools and jobs.
Young pioneers. That sounds like a pretty neat group. Couldn't you join them?
But you do not understand. For all these things, they make you answer this question. Do you believe in God? I say yes, always. So I am out. Many of my friends, people I used to know in our church, they say no to the question, just so they can go to school. But Mom and Papa did not do it, and I do not do it either. Jesus say, we should not, how do you say, deny him. But many deny him with their lips, and then they say they do not in their heart. But I think this is wrong. Do you not also think so?
Oh, yes. Yes, I guess so.
Have you two solved all the world's problems yet?
Hi, Dad.
I have to hop over to the hospital for a few minutes. Could I give you a lift home, Monica?
Ah, yeah, danke schön.
Hey, Skipper. Got a new one.
What?
What does a 500-pound mouse say?
I don't know. What does a 500-pound mouse say?
Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
Very funny. That is a joke people have to tell the other young people Friday.
Friday?
Yeah, Friday at the church. You will be there, will you not?
Well, if I can.
Auf Wiedersehen, Roberta.
Goodbye.
See you later, Skipper.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye, Monica.
I'm going to the hospital, honey.
You finished your homework?
Oh, just about.
Well, you better get to it so you can get to bed early. Tomorrow's another school day.
Okay, Mom. I'll finish upstairs.
Okay. How are you doing, dear?
Okay, I guess.
You about finished?
Not exactly.
Bobby, what's wrong? You haven't been yourself all evening. Do you feel all right?
Sure, Mom, I'm okay.
What is it then?
I don't know. I guess... Well, I can't seem to get Monica off my mind.
Oh, has something happened?
No. It's just the way some of the kids at school talked about her.
Uh-oh.
It kind of hurt my feelings.
I'm sure it did. But, Bobby, you mustn't let that upset you so, dear.
I can't help it, Mom. I was just as bad as those other kids.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Well, when they talked about Monica that way, Even though it hurt me, I didn't let it show. Good old me. I wasn't going to get caught being different or thinking different than my best friends. Not me. I wasn't going to lose my friends. Do you know what I mean, Mom?
Yes, I think I do.
All the way home from school, I kept thinking that maybe I had lost something. I didn't know what it was, but I had a big, empty feeling deep down inside me. What made me feel that way, Mom? Was it just because of Monica, or was it something deeper?
Maybe it was your conscience reminding you that you had been disloyal to a friend.
Yeah, could be. But there was something else, too. One thought kept going through my mind. Monica's faith in Christ seemed strong enough to stand up against a whole hurricane. Mine fell flat on its face at the first little breeze. It all added up to one big, whopping question. Was I really a Christian? Or wasn't I?
Oh, hi, Bobby. Got bad news. My little brother broke our record player last night. Can you bring over your portable? But Sherry, then we won't be able to use our stereo records. Boy, oh boy, can't you get it fixed? By Friday? How can I get it fixed by Friday? Besides, Dad's still mad about it. We've only got $2.75 among us. You got your advance and your allowance, Bobby? If we don't have that $3 purchase in, we might as well forget about the discount.
I'm not going to be at the meeting Friday.
How come? This'll be 2 weeks in a row you've missed.
Because I'm going to the Friday fellowship over at the church.
You mean your dad's still making you run around with that new girl?
No. No one's making me. Monica's my friend, and I like her a lot.
Oh, so that's it. We're not good enough for you anymore.
But you are, and isn't that at all? I want you all to be my friends.
What gives then? Why are you quitting the club and going to church instead?
Because it's important. But I don't want to quit the club either. I've been hoping we could meet sometime besides Friday. For a long time, we've been running around together, and we've had some good times. But since Monica moved here, and I've gotten to know her, I've been feeling more and more like a heel.
You? What are you talking about?
Well, you see, I've always gone to church, but I really haven't taken it seriously. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
Well, it's something your parents expect of you, and something you feel you ought to do. I never really thought about it much. But with Monica, it's different.
How come?
In the country she comes from, people have been arrested for even talking about God in public. Sometimes it's a matter of life and death there. In our country, we're free to believe and free to go to church when we please. But then I asked myself, what have I done for Jesus? I believed in him for a long time, but I've never told anyone anything about him. I failed him. I've been chicken. But now it's time to be different. How about all of us going to the church together Friday? We could have a great time. What do you say? You know what I mean, don't you? I gotta scoot. Bye. I'll see you all at the church Friday, okay?
didn't think you were listening. I saw you had your algebra on your mind.
Honey, you about finished. You better get started for the church. No. I'll have to finish after dinner. Seems to me your homework's been taking a lot.
Oop, the software crapped out. 1 second. Hold on. Sorry about that.
If you must know, Mom, I haven't been working on it very much the last few days.
Oh.
Well, I've been thinking a lot about the gang lately. I haven't seen very much of them. I've got a sneaky feeling that they've deliberately been avoiding me.
Bobby.
No, like they've got a secret they're hiding from me.
A secret? Now, what kind of secret?
Mom, if I knew what it was, it wouldn't be a secret anymore, would it?
Oh, no, no.
Anyway, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, you better get started. And please, don't fill up on all these at the meeting.
Okay.
We're going to have an early dinner.
Mom, did you ever stop to think what a funny thing it is, witnessing about your faith?
Funny?
Well, what I mean is, well, it's sort of like taking olives out of a bottle. The first one's hard to get out. But once you do, the rest roll easy.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Last week, but I didn't dare tell anyone. Can you imagine? The surprise is Monica's idea.
You're kidding. Oh, Monica,
You are always telling me so many funny jokes. I thought it would be nice to play a big joke on you.
this isn't a joke. This is wonderful.
Hey, these are great. Bobby, your mom's simply the greatest. She sure is. Boy, oh boy. Hey, you guys, lay off. Leave some for someone else.
Monica, Dankeschön.
Lisa.
I just couldn't believe this. Oh, just a minute.
Okay.
Hi, Pastor.
Hi.
Hey, can I help you with that?
Well, it's not too heavy. Thank you very much. We seem to have a big jump in attendance.
Isn't that something? I mean, how about that? It's just the greatest.
Well, I don't know, Bobby. I've heard it said that church on Friday afternoon just isn't the thing to do. I mean, how about that?
Seriously, Pastor, I think Monica has set a wonderful example for all of us kids. I mean, when you think of all she's been through, and then to be so sure of herself and so willing to witness about her faith in Christ, well, what I mean is, don't you see, this Friday fellowship is going to be the thing to do.
I always believed it could be, if kids like you got behind it.
Hey, Pastor, would you like some punch?
Why not, Betty Lou? Come on, let's join them.
Here, have a cookie, Pastor.
Thank you very much. Who made these?
I think Bobby did.
Well, technical problems aside, that was a wonderful film. Had so many character actors in it. I love... So Family Films was based in LA, so they were pulling from all of these movie, television, commercial actors who were looking for gigs. So that's why we saw who we saw. Sissy, Mrs. Olsen, that guy who's in those things. You know, that guy. And thank you so much for the donations. Let me see if I can scroll back and find who donated. Brian, thank you so much. And Kevin, thank you so much. Those help us pay for things like little digitizing boxes like this. Hello, digitizing box. Other things... let's see. Other ways you can support us is hitting the thumbs up with a like button. You can watch other videos that we have on our YouTube channel. We're slowly getting some ad revenue from that. Also, I've added some merchandise that's made by this company where they'll slap a logo on things, and so there's some AV Geeks logoed items like a mug, like a glass, for... It felt like 6 months, all I had up there were slippers, and nobody bought them. So there are other things up there now that maybe you can sip coffee with me, and we'll have a grand old time watching frogs having sex and sipping some coffee. Other ways you can support us is go to ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks. Yeah. Hey, how many of you live near Naples, Florida? We're going to be showing films about golf in a Alamo Draft House that has a miniature golf course. So that's kind of exciting, and that will be next, not this Friday, but the following Friday. We'll be down there. So if you're in town, come on by. Let me know. Maybe I can try to get you on a list, etc. But thanks for tuning in. And we will see you, what is today? Wednesday? Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday. Everybody take care, and we'll see you soon.